this micro switch. I've had the button opening and I've been investigating the wires, because the best advice I was given was that the broken wires up here where they come through in the loom under that rear spoiler. I've got a video here you can have a look at where I pulled that apart to chase that down, and I've also opened up and unwrapped all of these wires, because I do know that they break, because I've had one break on this side and had to put in a new wire. And you know, yes, sure, I'll put up the link to that video there. But these ones are not broken. They're all in good order and they're all still connected. I was expecting maybe there was a short between one of the wires that ran to the brake and something else, but they're all in good order, all strong, and there are no issues with that loom at all, so I'm going to put that back together. But what I'm going to do now is have a look at this micro switch, because the story is that you get water in the micro switch here, and it can cause shorting out. Mine seems to be associated with the brake. Maybe it's forward momentum. Well, I don't know, it happens in reverse as well. I don't know. But I'm going to pull this apart and have a look and see if there's any water in there. Because the truth is, when I did the last repair, I'll put a link up to that one there. When I did the last repair here with some WD-40 in the switch, it did last 6 or 7 months before it started to play up again. And you know, it could just be that that was over the summer period, because we're now back into winter and getting a lot of rain again when this has started to play up. So I'm going to run with that. We're going to, that's just a little plastic cover, flicks off there. I'm going to take the wiper arm off and pull this apart and check what's going on inside here. There is a cover under here as well with a couple of screw covers we can access and get in. But I'm going to start with the top and see how far we get disassembling, taking the wiper arm off and then undoing this nut underneath it, and see where we go with this micro switch, and also see what wiring is there, because I've just pulled all that apart in the glass, so it'll be interesting to see what comes down to here. Okay, so it's a 13mm, which is very similar size to a 1/2 inch, and that wasn't tight. It wasn't very tight at all. We'll lift that off. There's a washer. Probably that can clip off, can it? Yep, we'll take that off so that we don't break it. Lift the washer off. And then, let's see how we go. Getting that wiper arm off. There we go. Let's just lever it up. Now there's a spring tension wanting to hold that wiper down, so you do have to work against that. We'll get that up and off. There we go. That's off. We'll get the next bolt off. Okay, so I've got a shifter here to undo the next level bolt, and hopefully it won't be too tight. All this sort of stuff, you're just working very hard not to mark the plastic and the bolts. It's all painted black, so yeah, it's not too tight either. Feels like it's on rubber. It's coming off. It's coming off, so that's good. And it's coming loose, so maybe we'll be able to access it here without even undoing that cover underneath. But I've certainly seen that by this being wet can short out the switch and cause problems. So little nylon washer, a nut, take that off. Yep, here we go. Switch comes up with 2 wires. So what is under there is these 2 wires running through to the switch there. Now this is an area I've seen people playing with and saying it can't get wet and so forth. And now I've got no moisture here. There's a rubber seal there on the glass. So I'll check and clean all of that as well. And obviously that would come out if we went to that switch on the other side. And we'll probably do that as we try to clean the whole assembly. But we're still connected, so we can't get him off to have a really good look until we go to the other side and disconnect those 2 wires. Okay, so we're going to keep on digging and come in underneath, and again, very careful with the screwdriver. I don't want to end up with all of these damaged. There we go. two little clips on the catch like that, so you've got to get it to the right side and then clip that out. I think coming from either the bottom or the top, yeah, that's the way to do it. But don't go from the sides where the clips are, come from either the bottom or the top, and that's revealing two bolts. We can undo that with a socket, and no doubt then this section here will come off. That is in fact a 10mm socket, so we'll just take that off. It's just a bolt with a washer tapped. The truth of the matter is some little intermittent faults you do actually just fix through trial and error. Again, put your bolts for each different component together to make it so much easier to put stuff back on again. Here we've got a connector and a switch, so that's interesting. We'll open that up, check our wires, and there's those two little wires. So from up the top, those two little wires there are actually connected. So there's no more to be undone from here. If we want to get into the wires, it's going to be taking this off, which is a bolt here, and probably the other bolt is the one that we've already taken off here. Yeah, it is. So one more bolt here, that looks like 10mm again. It is. Take that off. Now that's going to, look at that, that stays. That comes away. That's the little wiper arm section and the catch for the glass. Well, at least the spring. When you slam the glass down, that's the spring that takes the shock. And then that's the wiper arm thing that moves backwards and forwards. The motor, as I said before, is in the tailgate. What you need to do is actually just get a screwdriver and stick it up between that gap there, between this holding frame and the plug, and then you can just open it. There is a little locking pin there, you can see. You can press it up, but then just hit it and open it. Of course, in this situation, I want to undo every plug, and I have a look in there for corrosion, and have a look around there for corrosion, but it's all dry, it's all fine. But always plug and unplug a plug in order just to clean the contacts. We can get this guy out and have a good look. And if you have a look in here, you mount into the daylight, that is actually going up into a sealed section. There's a clear glue in there. So that's all sealed and totally waterproof, and the wires are all intact. There's no shorting, they're perfectly set apart. Everything's good through to the plug, so there's no issues here. What I need to do now is I'll just pop that off again and have a bit more of a look, but I've given that a really good look and a clean. Though it may come to it that I have to replace that part, but we'll see. To pop this off is just a screwdriver in the crack there, and we'll have a look inside once again and see if there's anything we can do inside there. We just in under that edge and pop it up. Again, all of this, the focus is not damaging. I'm going to get a bigger screwdriver. So this all can be done, of course. Here it comes. On the car, you can pop that off and have a look inside. This is the micro switch. The button that you're pressing is here, so that's actuating that up, and here's the contact. So really that's this lid here holds that down, and the button presses that up like that. Not exactly sure of the purpose of that little bit of metal spring loaded on there, but I'm sure it's important. And then of course with a switch, a circuit switch like this, you'll see you've got the connection here and the connection here, and when there's contact, it joins them, which opens the tailgate, and when there's not, it doesn't. So of course any moisture and shorting in here, anything going on is going to muck it up as well. Just basically pressing that up is what contacts the switch and opens it up. So it could be that this here is cactus. There's just a foam pad there, which is an interesting form of contact across the switch, but that's what they've done. And now when we put this back together, we do need to get that wire to sit back in the loop. under there, and you can just do that with the rubber. It will all sit back into the right place. And you've got the 2 wires coming through the 2 holes here. And we are ready. That's now assembled back together to put back on. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I'm just really glad you've checked it all, made sure there's no moisture, everything's intact, and we'll put it all back together. Okay, so holding the big section back on, we're going to put this back together, doing it up finger tight, and then while holding it all in place, we'll do it up with the shifter. Now again, this tool is way bigger than what the job requires. We're doing up a nut on the glass, so it doesn't need to be done up with all the strength you've got. The clever thing is always, well, I have given that a clean up underneath. The clever thing is always to line up your dirt marks and your dust marks so that you end up with your catch in the same place. And this wasn't super tight by any stretch, but we'll just bring it up so that it's tight. That's good. So we've just done up that 10mm bolt there, which together with the bolt on the other side holds this big wiper motor, the wiper arm assembly in place. And then next we have the black plastic cover goes on. That fits beautifully into place there. And then these 2 silver screws. Again, when you're putting stuff like this on, just do it up. Not super tight to start with. Get everything lined up exactly where you want it, and then give it a little nib to do it up. That's back on. Press those 2 covers back on. Remembering they've got little holes to line up with the little clips. So put them in the right spot. That'll clip into place. That's back together. Put the wiper arm back on. And as I said, this is on a loaded spring, so you're going to have to keep the tension up in order for it to slide down. When you put it back on, have a look. There's knurling inside here. You'll see like little slots which line up with knurling slots on there. If they're worn out and it's all shiny or they're all broken off, then you will have to replace whichever bit's worn in order for it to grip properly and wipe the screen. So you need to get this in the right position, of course. Down on that side is where it was, which lines up with the hole down here. And then, so you line up your park position. You want it to be nice and straight, which is there. Then press it on, beautiful. And then just the nut on the top and your wiper arms back on. So at this point, what you need to do is go and turn your wiper on. And I also check the sprayer, I've had that off as well. Make sure everything's going, and then just see where it parks. And it's parking, for me, just a little bit low, just 1 knurling too low. So I'm just gonna lift it off and just lift it up by 1 to get that into the right position. So what you need to do is simply put it back down in the position where you want it to park, and then go inside, turn it on, and give it a try. And just moving it a little bit at a time is what we're after. If you just get him mainly off here, then you can move it on the knurling, slide him back down, and then do the nut back up. It doesn't have to be super tight. Doing the nut up will actually pull it down onto the knurling and make it very tight. We don't want that, so put the nut back on, do it up, just like that. And then you go, give it a wipe, check out where it's parking and see if it's if you're happy with that. And I'll let you see how good my work was, because I don't know. Okay, there you go. So it's setting down where I want it now, and that's great. Okay, so then we just tighten that up, nib it right up, put the cover back on, click, click, beautiful. That's done, and now parking in the right position.